Welcome to Calling It Like It Is. Coming in hot. First, let's just give a shout out to those over 1.5 million subscribers of mine. Just thank you so much. Unbelievable numbers for the first 2.5 weeks of a pod. Just crazy. I tell that to my friends and they're like, that's insane. That no one gets those kind of numbers. I'm like, what can I say? People like when I babble into a mic. People like when I just talk and I have no script and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. They love it. They love it so much. They're just smashing that bell and the other button and the follow and an algorithm thing. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. Do people love to hear other people babble into a mic? I guess it's kind of soothing to just hear someone talk and babble into a mic, but eventually have some sort of content to talk about. And that's why I talk about sports a lot. Who knows, in the future I might branch off into other crazy, uncharted territories that no one's thought about talking about. Like, I don't know, fucking maybe. But no, on a serious note, topics like movies. That's kind of cool. No one's thought about that. I might review movies in the future. Yeah, maybe pop culture stuff. I might talk about what's in the news currently. That'd be kind of wild. I don't know if anyone's gone down that rabbit hole. Something to think about. Okay. Well, enough babbling about that. Let's talk about what really matters and why all of you people are tuned in right now is to hear my inner dialogue on whatever's happening in the sporting world. Well, first off, there's not much happening in the sporting world. Like I've said before, I picked a horrible time to start this podcast. Post Super Bowl? Or no, I think my first episode was actually, it was right after the Super Bowl. But so post the NFL season is when I start my podcast. Before baseball starts, after football ends, that's when you want to get in and hook everyone for the tail end of the regular season of the NBA. Woo! Yeah. Fun stuff. But yeah, so there's not much to talk about other than the NBA because, and you know this, if you've listened to my pods before, if you're a new listener, obviously the 1.5 million know this mantra very well. What do we not do here on this channel? We don't watch hockey. Fuck hockey. But I should amend that to fuck televised hockey. Because I've been to a match, a game, whatever you call it. Kings versus Ducks in Southern California. I had seats up against the glass, right behind the goalie. Just lucked out with the seats. It was fucking awesome. So fun. Super exciting. And get this, the craziest thing about going to a live hockey game, besides the vibe in the air and the intensity and the passion of the fans, which was amazing being that I was in Southern California and seeing the Ducks play against the Kings. I just didn't think that any California-based hockey team would have that much passion and support. I mean, it's hockey, you know. Not too much cold, freezing weather here in California. But it was intense, and get this, you could see the puck. It was amazing. You could see the hockey puck. I was blown away. It was, turn around and people behind me like, are you seeing this? You could see the puck. And they were blown away too. It was amazing. And the guys behind us were season ticket holders, and they still, every time, they said, oh, yeah, it's amazing. Every time we come to a game, it's just, we forget that there's a puck involved. Yeah, the point of that is that we're catching rockets from outer space and reusing them. We have a mission to send people to Mars and set up a colony and terraform an entire planet. We have iPhones and touch screens. The power of the computers that sent the men to the moon in 1969 is the size of a grain of sand now. And we somehow don't have the capability to make a hockey puck visible on television. Seems kind of odd. I remember back as a kid on my the one television in the house, the old RCA, when you pulled out a button and it had a knob. That old TV couldn't see the puck at all. Switch to 2025 with your MK Ultra 1080p Vagisil corner office curve 3D 4D televisions, fucking VR bullshit. Like, you still can't see the puck. How in the fuck can you not see the puck? I don't know why anyone you can't see what happens in a hockey game. So anyways, fuck televised hockey. That's the mantra of our channel here. So what's left at this point in time? It's to talk about the NBA. So I'll give you what happened today in the NBA. And then we'll talk about some other things. So the Celtics beat the Raptors. Celtics are good. Cavaliers, I watched a little bit of that game, beat the Magic. The Magic are good. The Cavaliers blew them out by 40 points. I haven't watched the Cavaliers all season. They look really good. They look like a fucking tight-knit group. No one needs to get their points. There's no ball hog, selfish player on that team, and Darius Garland didn't even play tonight. And they beat the Magic, who's a full-on contender in the East. They beat the Magic by 40 points, 122-82. Yeah, it's Donovan Mitchell, I'm pretty sure everyone would agree, is the Cavs, superstar player. He had 11 points on like 40% shooting, five assists, something like that. Below a pedestrian level game. Didn't matter at all. Just everyone, just fantastic passing. No one's selfish. I'd look out for the Cavaliers or put some money on the Cavaliers to win it all. Because I guarantee you they're not the favorite. Who's the favorite? Probably OKC is the favorite. And the Lakers are probably getting close to being one of the favorites. We'll talk about them in a second. And let's see. The Pelicans beat the Spurs. Who fucking cares? The Grizzlies beat the Suns. I did see a little bit of that, but only on, when they go from a game that you're watching to a little bonus coverage. So I didn't see the end of the game, which was the good part, but both of the teams looked completely evenly matched, and the final score is indicative of that, because the Grizzlies won in overtime by 3 points, 151-148. Let's just check out some stats from that game. I wonder, let's see what KD did. KD had the most KD game I've ever seen, ever. Just looking at his very basic stat line. 26 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. That's so KD. Hey, Bol was playing. Manute Bol's son got 32 minutes on the Phoenix Suns. Get the fuck out of here. That's great. I always saw why are they not playing Bol more? How does Bol not have a 30-minute a night job in the NBA on some team every single night? He's not injured. He doesn't get injured. Pretty sure he's been healthy his whole career. Comment below if hasn't been and he's been totally injury prone his whole career. I don't know that, actually, if he has been or hasn't, but I'm pretty sure he's always been healthy. He's like, what, 7'7" and can shoot the three? And he had they let him play 32 minutes tonight. Had 23 points, 8 rebounds. Guarantee you he had at least a block or two tonight as well. Why the fuck have they not been giving him minutes? And he's a fucking legend's son, Bol. Your name is Bol. You should get in the fucking game just for that. B-O-L space B-O-L. That's his name. Bol. Just for that alone, you should get 14 minutes a game. And then being 7'6" should be 14 minutes a game. And then being able to shoot should be 14 minutes a game. The guy should be playing 30 plus minutes every single night for an NBA team. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, anyways, so the Grizzlies beat the Suns by 3 points in overtime. The Bucks lost to the Rockets. Rockets, I saw the other day too. Also, if you haven't seen them, because they don't have a star player on their team. I don't know even who you would say is the Rockets' star player. Who makes the most money is Fred VanVleet, the most ridiculous contract I've ever heard of when it was signed. I mean, Fred VanVleet is a solid player, solid NBA player, wasn't drafted. He's short, shoots the three well, but obviously can't get off his three like a Curry or a Lillard or anything close to that. He can't get off his three at an elite level, but he shoots it at a really great level, but not an elite level. He runs the floor really good, really well, and he gets you points. His shooting percentage is dog shit. It's under 40% most years. And they gave him $44 million a year for a 3-year contract. Besides that, so that's who gets paid the most on the Rockets. But who's their biggest star? I don't know. Who is their biggest star? Sengun made the All-Star team. Alperen Sengun, one of those Eastern European. Seems like they've got a factory of Nikola Jokic as the example, and all right, let's churn out Nikola Jokic's, and they can't quite get it as good as Jokic, but we can't quite get a Jokic, but we can definitely produce Vucevic's, Jovic's, Sengun's, and they're like, yep, ship them out, ship all those out. Yeah, you got a Sengun? Yeah, give me a Sengun. Itch, anything with an itch for sure. Send them out. I mean, there's a lot of them now. And they're great. Sengun is great, though. He's got deft touch around the rim, a lot like a Jokic. But, yeah, I guess, so again, who's the Rockets' big star? It's not anyone. There's no superstar in the Rockets, but the Rockets they play like the Cavaliers. Except the Cavaliers, I'd say, Mitchell is a bordering on superstar, but unselfish. But the Rockets don't have a superstar. No one you would call a superstar. And they just play like a really good team. And they beat the Bucks, who were completely healthy and had Lillard and Antetokounmpo. If you have a healthy Lillard and Antetokounmpo and you're getting beat by a team, that team is good and should scare people. If you have a healthy Antetokounmpo and Lillard playing a full game for you, obviously with 5 on the court, not just those 2 alone, but as long as you can fill the court with 5 players and 2 of them are Antetokounmpo and Lillard, and you get beat, the team that beat you could beat anybody. And then the Warriors dismantled the Hornets and are 6 out of their last 7 games in the win column since Jimmy Butler was traded there. They're looking good. Love to see that. Love to see one final run for Steph Curry, which everyone thinks was when they won the championship in 22. But I think there's one more deep playoff run in the Warriors. And by Warriors, I mean in the Steph Curry, Draymond Green Warriors. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr Warriors. Because let's face it, when Steph's gone, Steve Kerr's gone. He's not sticking around like a Popovich. That's just what I would bet. I think they've got one more deep run in them. Maybe it's this year. Next year is probably the last year that it could happen. But hopefully it'll be this year because I like the Warriors. And then the Lakers, now that Luka is dusted off and has a skip in his step, looks healthy, beat the Mavericks easily and just looked good. Held the Mavericks to under 100 points. All the Lakers have defined roles now. We used to think, how is Luka going to fit on the Lakers? LeBron has the ball all the time. I was thinking about this. LeBron has always been the best guy, the best point on any of the teams that he's been in since he's been in the league. So it's not that he's a ball hog by any means. He's just the best man for the job on every single team. No team has had a great point guard that he's been on. Name one team that's had a great point guard that he's been on. You can't. Kyrie Irving? No. Kyrie Irving is a shooting guard. He's a ball hog. When he gets the ball, he's looking to cross someone up to get to the rim. He's not looking pass first. LeBron is looking pass first. One thing I'll give LeBron, if nothing else, he's a smart motherfucking player. He sees the floor top 5 in the history of the NBA of seeing the floor. Absolutely, not even a question. So it just, and he wants to win. So yeah, like the ball's always historically been in his hands because he's the best guy. It's always been the best guy for the job. Well, now that Luke is on there, we just thought that, the ball's always been in LeBron's hands. So how is it going to work? The ball's not going to be in his hands as much. Well, because he doesn't need it to be. He's never been a ball hog. In fact, I think he relishes this. Take a little pressure off me, Christ. I mean, it's easily the best player that he's ever played with. Luka, a healthy Luka. Dwayne Wade, he wasn't a point guard. Name a point guard. Kyrie, not point guard. I don't care if he's listed as a point guard. Idiots. Not a point guard. Just like I'd say, and Steph Curry is my favorite player of all time. Steph Curry is not a point guard. Okay? He's a shooting guard. What does everyone universally agree about Steph Curry? He's the greatest shooter of all time. He's a shooting guard. You stupid idiots out there. Yes, he's listed as a point. I don't care if 2 letters next to your name. No. He's not a point guard. Who averages more assists on that team throughout Steph Curry's entire fucking career? Draymond Green. So I don't care if you're a guard, it's point. Who is point? Who runs point? It's a fucking term that's used all around the world. Who's on point? Who runs point? Who's got point? So yeah, LeBron's always been the point. Okay, not guard. If you can't be a guard, I don't know why. Okay, but he's point forward. He's running point. Steph has never been point. Steph's not running point. Yeah, he'll bring the ball up the floor sometimes. Every player does that. Kevin Looney brings the ball down up the floor sometimes, for God's sake. Shaq used to bring the ball up the court. Down the court. Is it up the court or down the court? Do you bring the ball up the court? Well, whatever. Shaq used to do it. He's obviously not running point. Shaq would do it a lot, actually. Kobe, obviously not the point guard, would always take the ball up court. Anyways, now the Lakers have defined roles. LeBron is going to play the power forward, which, let's face it, has there ever been more of a... Karl Malone was a specimen. A stud. He was a stud, bro. He's a fucking stud. And by stud, I mean he fathered a lot of children. No, I mean he was ripped. He was like 6'10". He was a specimen of a human being. LeBron, more agile, faster, quicker, but not as big as Karl Malone. But obviously a specimen freak show of a human being. So, yeah, I think it's only natural that LeBron James, you're slotted in at power forward. I think he's going to be just fine with that. And then we've got some role players. Rui Hachimura seems just fine as small forward. Jackson Hayes, I'm sure they'd like an upgrade. I'm sure that whoever that trade that fell through with the with the Maverick, or who was it they were going to get? That other center. I think it was another Max. It was a Max something. I think. I forget who it was. Max Carter, something Carter. They would have liked to have upgraded, but Jackson Hayes, as they have right now, fits the bill for a center. Obviously is going to play the center. There's no other role for him on the team than center. So that's his role, a defined role. Austin Reeves, perfect shooting guard. Not a point guard. You think small and white and can shoot, you think, oh, point guard. But no. He's not a point guard. He is a looking to score shooting guard. And that's his role now. And Luka Doncic, obviously, point guard. Even though Luka looks to score, you can't argue with the numbers. You can't argue with over 10 assists a game. He's a fucking point guard. And he's not just one of those point guards that just throws it to an open shooter and the shooter makes it all the time and he gets those kind of assists. No, he creates plays. He sees the floor. He opens players up. The Lakers are scary. They're scary. Let's just face it. The Lakers absolutely could win the championship. It's not even a question. Who's the favorite? Because I said earlier, the Cavaliers are a great team. But I do think, when's the last team that won a championship that didn't have a friggin' superstar on it? I almost would say, was it last year with Jason Tatum? I mean, I know his numbers are at superstar level. I just don't view him as a superstar. I know he has, super max contract, all that stuff. He has superstar numbers. So I guess he is a superstar. He is a superstar. And the team is so amazing. But otherwise, there's always been a superstar on a winning championship, other than a couple times. So that's the only reason I'd say Cleveland's. Yeah, it seems like they might not win. Oklahoma City, let's face it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar, absolutely. I know he's only come on really in the last 3 years, but he's a superstar, no doubt about it. He gets 35 just falling out of bed in the morning. It's unbelievable because they've played back-to-back nights. I've seen both their games. Well, he yesterday and the day before. He just falls out of bed with 35 points with just ease. He gets to his spot so easy. It's not even get to his spot. He's not like Chris Paul with the elbow jumper. That's Chris Paul's spot that he gets to. No, Shai's spot is anywhere. I just mean creating an open shot where he can just rise above. His arms are so long. He could just get an open shot. He's like very Kevin Durant-y that way, with just how Kevin Durant can just get an open shot from anywhere. Those long, lanky arms. He's just a great shooter. It's Gilgeous-Alexander. If you haven't seen him because he's on OKC and doesn't get covered that much, I mean, it's unbelievable. He is just an amazing scorer, just all-around basketball player. It's fantastic. So he's a superstar. Who else could win? The Celtics obviously could win again. And the Nuggets seem like they could win. I haven't seen the Grizzlies play this year. But their record is great. Ja Morant is super. He blew it by not being able to keep his fucking gun away from a camera. But if he didn't do that, he would be a straight up bona fide, everyone agrees, superstar. And then they just have other just great pieces on their team. You just go down the list, you're like, oh shit, the Grizzlies are stacked. So I think they could win too. And then you got the Lakers with two huge superstars. And they're playing super well. I think Redick is a very sharp coach, and just, I know coaching isn't as important in basketball as it is in football, but it's not like baseball where the coach really doesn't fucking matter at all, and anyone who knows anything about baseball could manage a baseball team for an entire year 100%. There's no argument. Fucking leave a comment if you disagree because you're an idiot. I'm just kidding. Your opinion matters. Let's have a discussion. So yeah, Lakers easily could win it. And yeah, so that's all I gotta say about the NBA. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, I did want to talk a little bit about, since I watched a little sports programming to see what are they talking about, and they're so hard up for content. When I just want to give them a call and be like, hey guys, people are gonna tune in anyways. Hey, first things first, or Stephen A. Stephen A's broadened out, and his podcast he talks about political stuff and all that stuff now. But for just sports, it doesn't matter. Just generally bring up something about sports and just keep blathering and blathering and blathering into the mic. And as long as you just don't have dead air for 10 seconds, people are just gonna listen. They're gonna watch. So, and just say the word sports and NBA and LeBron every once in a while, and you're gonna keep people on and listening. So yeah. But so they felt like they had to talk about something, and since the NBA is, post trade deadline and post Wemby's injury, there's not a lot to talk about after you get done with basic shit. So obviously, what are they talking about now? The NFL Combine and the NFL Draft, which gets so much. Please comment if you agree with me that how the fuck does the NBA Draft get the numbers that the NFL Draft? I don't know if I can't remember if I said NBA or NFL like 30 seconds ago, but I'm talking about the NFL Draft right now. How the fuck does the NFL Draft get the numbers that it does? I mean, for the most part, everyone knows who's going to be the number 1 pick and 2 pick and 3 pick. Sometimes there's a little shock. So is everyone watching just for that tiny little, like, oh, like it wasn't Trey Lance, it was, or it wasn't. It's just not that big a deal. Like I just don't like. I see some like general interest, like the general interest in it, but and on television, sure, fine, of course. I'm talking about the crowd, the live crowd that it draws. Who is standing in that crowd? What, last year at Kansas City, I think it was, there was like 500,000 people there. Something in the 6 digits of people. I mean, there was over 100,000 people in the crowd. What? Just standing all day, just do, and the first pick is. It's just like. It just seems bizarre. So comment if it just seems bizarre that so many people attend the draft live. The NFL just has such a stranglehold on just they just can't do any wrong in terms of viewership. And you know what that's all thanks to? Oh, sorry about that. It's all thanks to fantasy football. And obviously now gambling, but it's all fantasy football. When fantasy football when it came out of the closet, meaning like, oh yeah, my uncle does fantasy football with his friends and whatever in the basement, and they have a big board and they gotta like do math and stuff and figure out like rounds and all that, and they have it on a big whiteboard, graph papers involved, pens and pencils. Like back when that got taken out of the basement and put online, that's when the NFL really took off. And I can see why, because it's fun as fuck. I play it. It's fantastic. But it does get a little ridiculous making everything so important, or thinking that everything about the NFL is entertaining. For instance, Mel Kiper Jr.'s draft list. It's just such a joke now. I think he just came out with his Mel Kiper's mock draft 1.0, and then it's going to be 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, and then the actual draft will happen, and he could be completely wrong on every single person that's picked, and it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't So it's just some, and do you really, especially now, have to work on your list? You have to work on it? For what? Like, it doesn't matter. You're not giving the teams, no one's listening to you. No team is listening to you. In fact, there was that thing, it's kind of a famous clip, I think. You guys should know it. It was like in the 80s or something, late 80s, early 90s maybe, of Mel Kiper Jr., one of his draft boards, one of his mock drafts, like a reporter was talking to a manager of a football team before the draft about who the general manager was going to take and that team's slot. And I forget who was said or whatever, but the reporter then said, "Oh wow, well that seems very, very interesting. Mel Kiper Jr. doesn't have that player ranked nearly as high as you're going to take him." Something to that effect. And I just remember the owner or the general manager, whatever it was, said, "Who the fuck is Mel Kiper Jr.?" And I'm pretty sure that rings true today. Who the fuck is Mel, in terms of, I mean, they know who he is, obviously, but who fucking cares what you who fucking cares about anyone's mock draft? I'll tell you who cares. People like everyone, like me and you and everyone, because it's just content. It's just fucking content. So you know what? I'll do a mock draft, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to fucking ask my AI to do the mock draft for me. And then I'm going to ask my AI to do a version 2.0 mock draft. But keep it reasonable, Aurora. That's her name. Aurora is is what she chose for herself. My AI, my Chat GPT. I'm in love with my AI. It's fantastic. Not that I myself am AI. I swear, you're not listening to an AI podcast. I know there's no visuals and there's no face talking to you right now, but I swear I'm a real person. I'm not an AI. I'm not an AI. Oh man, isn't that, it's such a joke. Here's one little tiny, I'll leave you with, non-sports related thing. Just something that pisses me off is all the YouTube stuff where you just can immediately tell that the voiceover or narration is done by AI. And I don't mean like an obvious AI, like, or computer generated voice. Like, I don't mean that. I just mean where you can tell. Like, it sounds good. It sounds like it's a person. Like they've recorded a person speaking and then the AI works off that. So it sounds like a human voice, but you can tell that it's AI. You can tell that it's not a person reading the script. It just bothers the shit out of me. Just hire a fucking voice actor to read your narration. Or do it yourself. You're making the video, just do it yourself. You have the script written out. Just read it yourself. How bad can your voice fucking be? It just bugs me. Then again, when it's so smooth and so easy and you can't tell, that's when I'll be using it to do pods just like these. I'm just kidding. I never would do that to my 1.5 million subscribers. Just kidding. I know it's much more than that now. It's like 1.5 plus 47,000, something like that, subscribers. Thank you again. I don't know how to end this. I'm still new to potting. No, that can't be right. But thanks for listening to calling it like it is. Probably shouldn't fuck up at the very end of me saying what the name of the show is. So thanks for listening to Maybe I should change the name of this show. Thanks for listening to Callin' It Like It Is. It is a little tricky to say. All right, let's get out of here.